In a remote desert canyon far from civilization, a group of treasure hunters set out to explore the remains of an abandoned gold mine that had been sealed for more than 100 years. Old maps and fading journal entries from the late 1800s hinted that the mine once produced an extraordinary amount of gold before suddenly being shut down under mysterious circumstances. Many believed the stories were exaggerated, but the promise of hidden treasure was too tempting to ignore. After days of hiking through scorching heat and jagged rocks, the explorers finally reached the collapsed entrance. Rusted rails and broken carts lay scattered outside, buried beneath decades of dust and sand, as if time itself had forgotten the place. With heavy tools and determination, the group cleared the debris and forced open the entrance. The moment the barrier gave way, a wave of cold, stale air rushed out of the darkness like a breath from the past. Inside, the mine looked eerily untouched. Old lanterns still hung from wooden beams, and mining tools lay exactly where workers had left them, frozen in time. Wooden carts filled with half-mined ore rested quietly along narrow tracks. It felt as though the miners had simply walked away one day and never returned. Yet the deeper the team ventured into the tunnels, the more unsettling the atmosphere became. The walls began to show strange carvings and symbols scratched into the rock, markings that did not resemble normal mining notes or directions. As the explorers followed the twisting passages deeper underground, their flashlights revealed a hidden chamber concealed behind a collapsed wall. What they found inside stopped them cold. Human skeletons lay scattered across the ground, some leaning against the stone walls while others formed a rough circle around a crude altar made from stacked rocks. Rusted pickaxes and shattered lanterns lay nearby, suggesting panic and chaos during the miners' final moments. There were no signs of cave-ins or natural disasters that could explain such a scene. Instead, the strange symbols on the chamber walls appeared again, this time larger, darker, and more deliberate, as if someone had been trying to perform a ritual deep within the earth. When the story of the discovery reached investigators and historians, a disturbing pattern began to emerge from old town records. In the 1890s, dozens of miners working in the canyon had reportedly vanished almost overnight. Newspapers from the era mentioned rumors that the workers had uncovered something strange beneath the rock layers, something that terrified them enough to abandon one of the richest mines in the region. Some surviving letters spoke of whispers echoing through the tunnels at night and shadows moving where no light should reach. Others described workers behaving strangely, claiming the mine itself was cursed after digging into an ancient underground chamber older than any human settlement nearby. Today the mine remains sealed once again, its dark tunnels hiding secrets that may never be fully understood. Some scientists believe the miners were exposed to toxic gases or minerals that caused hallucinations and madness. Others argue that fear and superstition drove the workers into chaos. But those who have seen the Chamber of Bones and the mysterious carvings say the place carries an unsettling presence that cannot easily be explained. Whether the miners uncovered a forgotten ritual site, triggered deadly underground gases, or awakened something long buried beneath the desert, the cursed gold mine stands as a chilling reminder that some discoveries are better left buried in the dark. Far in the frozen wilderness of the Arctic Ocean, where the sea remains locked beneath thick layers of ice for most of the year, a team of marine researchers was conducting a routine sonar scan of the ocean floor. Their mission was simple: map unexplored sections of the seabed and search for geological formations hidden beneath the ice. But during one of the scans, the sonar screen revealed something unexpected: the unmistakable outline of a large wooden vessel resting silently on the ocean floor. At first the researchers assumed it was a known wreck that had simply been poorly documented, but after checking maritime records, they discovered something astonishing. No ship matching its size or location had ever been reported missing in this region. Intrigued by the mysterious find, the team organized a diving expedition to investigate the wreck. Breaking through the thick ice above required hours of drilling, and once the opening was created, divers slowly descended into the freezing black water below. As their lights cut through the darkness, the ship gradually appeared before them like a ghost frozen in time. Its wooden hull remained remarkably intact despite decades beneath the icy ocean. The masts were broken but still attached, and the ship's nameplate was strangely missing, as if someone had deliberately removed its identity. Everything about the wreck felt strange, too preserved, too silent, and far too forgotten. When divers carefully entered the ship through a broken hatch, the mystery deepened even further. Inside the cabins, personal belongings remained exactly where they had been left. Boots stood beside beds, journals lay on wooden desks, and cups were still resting on tables as though the crew had been interrupted in the middle of their daily routines. Even more chilling was the discovery that several clocks on the walls had stopped at the exact same time, suggesting that something sudden and catastrophic had occurred aboard the vessel. Yet despite the signs of life frozen in time, there were no human remains anywhere on the ship. The researchers searched every corner of the wreck, the cargo hold, the captain's quarters, the engine room, but the result was always the same. Not a single body, not even a trace of struggle or evacuation. It was as if the entire crew had simply vanished into the freezing sea in a matter of seconds. Some equipment also appeared unusually advanced for the era the ship seemed to come from, including strange metal instruments and sealed containers that did not match standard maritime gear from the early 20th century. The more investigators explored, the more questions emerged. As historians began studying the wreck, scattered clues started to form a disturbing theory. Old government archives hinted at a secret Arctic expedition that had taken place during the early 1900s, a mission rumored to involve experimental research in one of the most remote places on Earth. The expedition had allegedly been classified and quietly erased from official records after communication with the ship was suddenly lost. Some researchers believe the vessel may have encountered a rare and powerful natural phenomenon beneath the ice. Perhaps a methane gas eruption, magnetic disturbance, or underwater volcanic activity that forced the crew to abandon ship instantly. Others believe the explanation might be even stranger. Some theorists argue that the mysterious instruments found aboard the vessel suggest the crew was studying something unusual hidden beneath the Arctic ice, something they may not have fully understood. According to this theory, whatever they discovered may have caused panic or forced them to flee the ship in a desperate attempt to survive. Yet if that were the case, one haunting question still remains unanswered: where did they go? Today the ghost ship remains trapped beneath the Arctic ice, preserved in the silent darkness of the ocean floor. Scientists continue to study the wreck, hoping to uncover more evidence about the vessel's origin and the fate of its missing crew. But until new clues emerge, the frozen ship stands as one of the most haunting maritime mysteries ever discovered. A silent witness to an event that erased an entire crew without leaving a single trace behind. During a routine subway expansion project beneath one of the busiest cities in the country, construction crews were drilling through layers of rock and concrete when their machines suddenly broke through an unexpected hollow space. At first, the workers believed they had accidentally hit an old drainage line or an abandoned utility corridor. But when engineers lowered a camera through the opening to inspect the cavity, the footage revealed something far more unusual. A long, narrow tunnel stretching into darkness, built with reinforced concrete walls and rusted metal doors that looked decades old. Even stranger, none of the city's official maps showed any record of such a structure beneath the streets. Curiosity quickly turned into concern as construction was halted and investigators were called in to examine the discovery. When the first inspection team entered the newly exposed tunnel, they realized it was not just a small passage but part of a massive underground network. Dim lights still hung from the ceilings, though most had long since burned out, and thick dust coated every surface. The tunnels branched off in multiple directions, forming a maze beneath the city that seemed to extend far beyond the construction site. Old pipes ran along the walls, and faded warning signs hinted that the area had once been part of a restricted facility. As investigators explored deeper into the passageways, they began finding objects that made the discovery increasingly disturbing. In one section of the tunnel, rusted cages lined the walls, large enough to hold several people at once. Nearby rooms contained old hospital beds, broken medical equipment, and cabinets filled with glass bottles labeled with chemical names that had faded with time. Some walls were covered with handwritten notes and strange diagrams, many of which appeared to describe behavioral experiments and psychological testing methods. The deeper the team ventured, the more it felt as though they were walking through the remains of a long-abandoned laboratory hidden beneath the city. Among the scattered papers and damaged filing cabinets, investigators eventually uncovered several partially preserved documents. Although many pages were destroyed by moisture and time, the surviving fragments suggested the tunnels had been used during the height of the Cold War. The documents referenced a classified research program designed to study human behavior under extreme stress, possibly connected to military efforts to develop new interrogation or psychological warfare techniques. According to the notes, the underground location had been chosen specifically to keep the project hidden from the public and protected from outside interference. Yet the most chilling part of the discovery came when the team reached the far end of the tunnel network. There, behind layers of dust and debris, stood a massive steel door reinforced with heavy locking mechanisms. Warning signs painted in faded red letters covered the surface, though most of the words were difficult to read after decades of neglect. Unlike the rest of the facility, which had been abandoned and left to decay, this chamber appeared to have been deliberately sealed shut. The locks were still in place, and the door showed signs that it had not been opened in over 50 years. No one knows exactly what lies behind that steel barrier. Some experts believe it may simply contain more records or equipment from the abandoned research project. Others suspect the chamber may have been sealed after an experiment went terribly wrong. The sudden abandonment of the tunnels, combined with the effort taken to permanently close the final room, suggests that whatever happened inside may have frightened those involved enough to leave the entire complex buried beneath the city. Today the tunnel system remains under heavy investigation, and access to the sealed chamber has been restricted while experts study the remaining documents. For the millions of people living and working above ground, life continues as normal, unaware of the strange hidden world lying beneath their feet. But the discovery of the underground tunnels serves as a haunting reminder that beneath even the most modern cities, forgotten secrets from the past may still be waiting in the darkness, sealed away for reasons no one has yet fully explained.